The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 30th day of May 2025, the final show of May 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman, and Teo Dill will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's. Happy Friday, everybody. How's everyone feeling? It is the last day of the traditional work week. We are entering the first official month of summer, June. We will be back with you in June, which is like another couple days, but you get my point. But 5 months down already in 2025 and heading into the 6th month will take us into half a year. Hopefully everyone's had a good one so far this year, but wow, it feels good. This is Sherry's favorite day of the week. I must remind you all of that every time we do it so that you can know I love you a bit more, because I love Mondays. I love Tuesdays. I love, coming back to see all of your faces. And, well, I don't see your faces, but you see mine. But you get my point, getting to engage with you all the time. So happy Friday. Happy to be here with you all. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Kimwana Eve from Lookie. Yes, Lookie. In his house today. Looking forward to the conversation. It's going to be talking about some things that they have coming up that you need to be aware of. That's one. And two, just how things have gone since they've gone from online directory to brick and mortar, and then what the next moves are. So looking forward to the conversation with Kimwana. The daily play is the things you should know. Yeah. Whatever question it is, you should know it. I'll leave it at that. Don't forget to do us this big favor. Whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter X, do this right now before we start the conversation. Give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Just help us beat the algorithm so that everyone you know is a part of these community conversations. All right, don't forget to subscribe to our website if you haven't already. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, Suzanne Ingham says, super awesome, fearless, fun Friday, Jamal and Teo, and it is Fun Friday, Fun Day. Brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes, and your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure Trucking. So there's been a lot of arguments and disagreements over the last, well, this has been going on forever, but especially since Bermuda Day. And the question begs is, what is a Bermudian? What is a Bermudian? So I want to ask the audience, what is a Bermudian to you? Like, what is a Bermudian to you? What is a Bermudian to you? But also, not just what is a Bermudian to you, but the other old age argument is Bermuda has no culture. Yeah, this is where we're going for Friday Fun Day, folks. Bermuda has no culture. All right. So let's get to it. What is a Bermudian to you? And do you think Bermuda has no culture? Yes or no? That's a quick yes or no. Do you believe that Bermuda has no culture? Yes or no? But again, the question of the morning is, what is a Bermudian to you? What is a Bermudian to you? It really hurts my heart when I see Bermudians. I know in our passports, there's no such thing as a Bermudian, right? I think it says, I mean, I don't have a Bermuda passport, but I think it says British Overseas Territory Citizen, like all those words. I think that's what it still says. And, technically that's right. I mean, we're not sovereign, like we're not independent, right? So that makes sense. But, when people say Bermuda, there's no such thing as a Bermudian, which I've said as well. And Bermuda has no culture. I think it stings these days, right? Because when you live outside of Bermuda for so long, you absolutely understand that Bermuda actually does have culture. And what's even crazier to me is watching and listening to people who try to sound like other cultures, act as if Bermuda has no culture. Your dialect, your accent, that makes up your culture too. It's the customs. If you look in a dictionary, it's the arts, right? Like people like to say, well, Gumbays are not Bermudian, they come from Africa. Yes, a variation of what we do is unique to Bermuda. It's like, roti, right? It may be Trinidadian, but maybe the Guyanese have their version. It's like curry, right? I remember getting into it with a young Jamaican girl when I was young in high school. And she said, curry's Jamaican. I'm like, well, it's technically Indian, but you have your variation of it, right? Culture is made up of our social institutions and achievements. Part of our culture is what Clarence Nicky Saunders accomplished and Brian Wellman, Dame Flora Duffy, Clarence Hill. The people, the way we dress, that's part of our culture. To say we don't have culture is probably the most self-degrading thing that we can do. So I'm interested in knowing, like, most of you who tune into this show are Bermudian. What is a Bermudian to you? And yes or no, do you think Bermuda has no culture? I think it's interesting because we have Kimwana Eve one from Lookie. And if you've ever been in there, you know that they sell unique things to Bermuda. Like that's part of our culture. I saw someone say Connie games and cop match is part of the culture. Someone said, oh, well, cricket's not Bermuda. No one said cricket was Bermudian. Seriously? But the way we celebrate it, I remember one year a cop match, the commentators, St. George's were getting whooped. And one of the players got 100 runs and fans ran on the field and the St. George's team was trying to basically waste time, commentators were saying, to save embarrassment of a 2-1. Oh, we've got to stop this. And another commentator said, well, running on the field when somebody hits half a century or a century, that's part of Bermudian culture. You don't really see that in other, games. So I think we need to stop degrading Bermudian culture and understand that we do have culture. We do have customs. We talk about fish sandwiches. I mentioned, if I say, oh, Bermudians love fish sandwiches on raisin bread, people are like, ugh. If I say Bermudians love fish sandwiches with coleslaw on them, the same reaction. That's cultural. It's cultural. That's not to say other people may not do it, but it's not a norm the world over. And I think we've got to understand that degrading ourselves doesn't make us any less cultural. It doesn't mean that we have less of a culture. Like, am I making sense? Now, I know I don't wear Bermuda shorts, but for those who do, that's part of the culture. It's unique. It's strange and weird to most people, but that's cultural. So, to anyone who believes that Bermuda has no culture, I'd probably say you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Bermuda has culture, like most places have culture. I think it's a misunderstanding as to what culture actually is and represents. That's where I think the disconnect is. But audience, you let me know. What is a Bermudian to you? And do you think Bermuda has no culture? Just a yes or no. Do you think Bermuda has no culture? It seems like some of you don't think Bermuda has culture and you're afraid to say no. Trust me, I'm not going to chant you down or throw anything at you. I'm not. But what is a Bermudian to you? What is a Bermudian to you? And do you think Bermuda has no culture? Hadley and Swan says, even if it originated from another country, we're unique. We unique it our way. Absolutely. Like that. That's what makes it special, right? You know, it's most things come from somewhere else. You know, it's that twist you put on it. But we love to say everything Bermudians love and celebrate. Oh, they did that here. They did this there. So how we do it is a bit different. There are numerous islands in the Caribbean who share similar dishes, but they have it in their unique own way. There's this big argument on social media these days about Black Americans defending themselves because people say they don't have any culture. And they're like, well, soul food is part of our culture. Hip hop's part of our culture. Stop letting people make you believe you have no culture. Seriously. And when I say stop letting people, I'm talking about each and every one of us. Look in the mirror. Stop allowing ourselves to believe that we have no culture. This is Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. Folks, you can get 2 years of free membership. Just go to mailboxes.bm/the Daily Hour. And also big up to our partners, the Titan Express and Secure Trucking, for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you. Let's go to the audience again. What is a Bermudian to you? And do you think Bermuda has no culture? Suzanne Ingham says, say it louder, Jamel. KT Tacklin says, yes, we do. I agree, Kent. WKD Lama says, these are the same people, can't see a tree in a forest. I love my Bermudians. Charles H. Duffs II, he says, the way we greet and treat people is a part of our culture. Thank you for that, Charles. How could I forget that part? But that is part of our culture. The way we say good morning, that's cultural. It really is. And it's something I didn't realize until I got to the US at a young age. But that's cultural. We do so many things that are unique to Bermuda. The way we build homesteads and have rental apartments, that may not be unique to Bermuda, but the way we do it is cultural. The way we build our homes, it's cultural. Collect our water, cultural. Our roofs, cultural. Stop letting people make you believe that Bermuda and Bermudians have no culture. I beg. We do. There are parades the world over. The way Bermudians do parades is unique for us. I'll give you an example. It used to really tick me off when I worked in tourism, and they'd have the Gumbays performing at hotels and so on. And I'm like, this is not the true Gumbay experience. The true Gumbay experience is to follow them through the streets of Bermuda. That's cultural. There are so many things we do that we should be proud of, that we should celebrate, that make up who we are. I think we don't understand what culture represents, or we might be ashamed of what it represents. But I beg you, don't allow anyone to tell you that Bermuda has no culture. Let's go back to the audience. Suzanne Ingham says Bermuda has culture. We are absolutely as unique as it gets. We mix it up exceptionally well. That's why Bermuda is another world all by ourselves. Marquita Lee says the way we celebrate every holiday. Marquita, don't get me started. Bermudians celebrate other countries' holidays better than them. We love a holiday, not something I'm always proud of, because we got to work, folks. But let's use July 4th and Thanksgiving. Bermudians celebrate those like they're Americans. Well, at least they used to. Like, we love a holiday, but that's cultural because we love an opportunity to engage. Mario Santucci says, we are very unique and our greetings is cultural. We are unique in our own way. Absolutely. Manuela John says, yes, we have culture. There's such diversity that we can see so many other cultures in the mix to make us unique. That's key right there. That's key. Because it's not just our culture, but in most cultures, they're made up of people from different spaces. Even when you look at Indians, there's different castes. There's different East Indians versus like Indians in the northern part of the country. And so on. Like culture in the United States, I'll give you an example. People in the southern United States versus people in the Northeast versus the Midwest versus the West Coast. It's very different. I mean, in Bermuda's context, it will be, Bermudians and then those folks down St. David's, That shit joke for the day. I'm sorry. St. David's folks, sending you love. Brother Kenton, if you're tuned in, sending you love. Tell the goats I said what's up. All right. I'm not getting in trouble with St. David's folks. I got to go down to East for Cup match this year. I know that's over the bridge. You're a whole different place. I get it. But but seriously. There were folks in St. David's that would say there are things cultural to St. David's that are different from the rest of the island, right? And they would be right. I think it's a tough conversation. But I feel like sometimes when we're discussing Bermudian culture, it's filled with self-hate. We have no place for self-hate, man. So what is a Bermudian to you? What is a Bermudian to you? Mark Arthur C. Phillips says our island is full of culture, from our local cuisine to the way we wear Bermuda shorts. We have people traveling far and wide to experience our unique, special culture. Well, let's talk about local cuisine because that's something people attack most. And there's no local cuisine that's unique to Bermuda. The way we do it is, again, the same way Cory chicken, the yellow Cory Jamaicans do it. Bermudians have unique ways of doing things. I said earlier, the way we eat fish sandwiches. Trust me, it offends me when people be like, really? On raisin bread? I mean, fish on bread is bad enough. Then they start going at us for having coleslaw on it, right? But that's unique. That's cultural. It is. And I know people run to the whole codfish and potatoes thing. And regardless of whether it started somewhere else, the way we do it is unique. Yes, I'm still a codfish and potatoes hater. That's why I didn't mention it all this time. We have culture, folks. We really do. And if I can say one thing to you today, it's don't let anyone make you feel less than. Don't let anyone make you feel as if there's no such thing as a Bermudian. You are a Bermudian. What I like to see Bermudians as a national, an official nationality, like to one day have that in their passport, absolutely yes. But what doesn't define me? I was in Trader Joe's the other day. I don't know if you guys know about Trader Joe's, but you could get like a week's, 2 weeks worth of groceries for like $50. Yeah. Trader Joe's is a deal, boy. But anyway, I was in there, and I don't know. All right, yes or no question. Have you experienced this? Anyone who's like lived in the US or traveled outside of Bermuda? Has anyone ever come up and said, "Hey, are you British?" Man, I was in there. I'm just trying to purchase my groceries. And the cashier is talking to me. And this brother says, "Hey, are you British?" Well, due to therapy, I don't get upset at that anymore. I was just like, well, I mean, if you look in my passport, it would probably say something about British. But no, I've never lived in Britain. I'm actually from Bermuda. So, okay, I'm sorry. It's all good. I totally get it. It's okay. But I mentioned that because even though people say our accents sound like this or sound like that, it is unique. It's unique. Rosalind Famous tells us all the time, our sound is ours. It's unique. Nika the Shield says, my college friends love our culture. They're trying to be locals. I love that. Why can't we love it like they love it? Manuela John says, some St. David's Islanders are offended if you lump them in with St. George's. St. David's is another world, even to St. George. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, I know that. Yep. They are are they still fighting to become a parish? They're like what those folks? Is it Quebec up in Canada? Quebec's trying to become their own country or something like that. Yeah, that's what St. David's are like. Angeline Butler says British and Jamaican. They've asked this. That's her accent, as well as Anika DeShield says yes. Manuela John says some people ask if you're British because they realize you are definitely not American. Yep. All right. Suzanne Ingham says, Jamal, I thought this was Friday Fun Day. It is Friday Fun Day. That's why I'm asking, what is Bermudian to you? You haven't told me. She says, when I traveled, I can spot a Bermudian anywhere. That's culture, right? Yeah, that is culture. All right, we've got to bring Teo Dillon for Daily Hour News Break. I wonder what's cultural to Teo. And I do wonder, like what does he think we have culture? Like, what represents culture to him? All right, this is your Fun Day, Friday Fun Day, and daily discussion. Thanks again to mailboxes. You can go to mailboxes.bm/the Daily Hour. 2 years of free membership. Or let's give some love to our partners. We've got Titan Express and Secure Trucking for ensuring we can have these discussions with you on a daily basis.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All righty. Before we bring Teo in, Charles H. Jeffs II, he says, we have no cuisine, fish sandwiches, fish cakes, pie, beef pies, chicken pies, fish pies, and my favorite, mussel pies. Well, Charles, I didn't say we didn't have any local cuisine cultural. That's what they say. Yeah, your fellow Bermudians. Karen Simmons says, to hear Bermudian talk is cultural, especially when traveling around the world. Oh, I love to hear it. I loved it. Yeah, I'd go right up. Are you Bermudian? We've got Marquita Lee says, I had college friends who loved to hear me talk. Yeah. I felt like what's that thing called? People pull a string and you talk. Like that's what it felt like sometimes, like a little doll. Anyway, we've got Kimwana Eve coming up from Lookie, but let's bring Teo Dill in and see how he's going to embarrass himself today.
Hey, morning, fam. See, you just, it's like, I know that you are a man that lives in a healthy fashion, take care of himself, his body, and yet you always want the smoke. I don't get it.
Well, it makes it much more fun when you come in and ready to, yeah. Hey, real quickly, hey, speaking of that, you just made me realize, have you ever done a stress test?
Yes.
I did one for the first time yesterday.
How did it turn out?
Pretty well, according to doctor. Very good, great.
Oh, well done. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't know all that went into it. I probably should have read up before I went, but they gave me instructions that were workout clothes. But as a brother that runs on a treadmill pretty often, folks, I'm gonna be real with you because I don't believe in lying to the audience. Your boy don't do no incline. I don't do no incline. All right. So when I went to do the stress test and I saw the treadmill and that incline kept going up, tail.
You want to smack somebody? Like,
I want lady, and she's there like just said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm not here to front. I'm not here to pretend and act like it was all. Your boy was struggling, Tay.
Yeah. Look, heels are different. I'm telling you, heels are different. A lot of people would be runners if not for heels.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Florida and that's probably the only good thing about Florida. See, I didn't have to run on a treadmill that often because Florida's flat. No, a lot of people don't know Florida doesn't have any hills. No, Bermuda, Georgia, man,
nothing but
treadmill. Exactly.
Yeah, nothing
exactly. But come on, give it to us, like cultural, man. I mean,
okay, this is something because I think discussions like this demonstrate, I think, one of the fundamental problems in human communication sometimes, which is to say, we use words that have definitions, but we don't actually mean the definition because it is impossible for a unique group of people, which Bermudians definitely are, like really, really singular in the global context, to not have culture, right? It's impossible. Like the definition of culture is, I think, like shared values, practices, identity of a discrete group of people. So necessarily we have culture. But I think when we say we don't have culture, what we mean is our culture is monk.
That's Bermudian culture.
That's what I think what we mean. Now, that is equally stupid. It's equally wrong, but I think that's what it means. Like we look to American culture and British culture and Jamaican culture, and we just think it's better than ours.
Correct.
So instead of saying ours is relatively monk, I'm using the word monk in this context.
Exactly. That's
linguistic culture, right?
Yep.
But it's stupid. And I'm glad everybody that has been mentioning our cultural cuisine, because one of the reasons we think we don't have culture is because of a part of our culture that I think we shouldn't be too proud of. That is to say, we have spent the better part of a couple of centuries basically running our economy through satisfying the interests of visitors.
Correct.
Right? And as a consequence of that, we've got a whole bunch of restaurants that are designed to have menus that will make people who come to this place feel comfortable when they sit down to order.
Correct.
That's why we have so many Italian restaurants.
Correct.
So many Mediterranean,
Correct.
Just broadly European restaurants. It's not because that's the palate of this place. It's because that's the palate of the people that we're trying to convince to give us money.
Correct.
Like it makes sense, right? Like I understand why it happens. But Bermudian cuisine is unique.
Correct.
Because if you're a foodie at all, like you'll understand this. Having a balanced bite, right, where all the different flavor profiles are reflected in a single bite of food is one of the things that restaurateurs and chefs aspire to around the world. Bermudians have been doing that regular for generations, right? The fish sandwich, you got the savory with the fish, with the seasonings. You got the sweet with the raisins and the raisin bread. You got the vinegar with the coleslaw, right? Like it's just balanced. The cassava pie, the savory meat, the sweet pie. Like this is the beef pies and chicken pies, the way we do them. The pastry is always a little sweeter than you find anywhere else in the world. Like we have been doing that thing, creating balanced bites for as long as people have been here.
But Taylor, why
it makes me so angry.
But is it so hate? Is it so hate? Like why do we continuously say this lie that Bermuda has no culture? Like, first off, do we not understand the definition of what culture is?
No, what I think we do. I think it is just an expression of self-loathing, but the self-loathing is also part of our culture because we are at bottom. And again, like it's not that it comes from nowhere. Like it's a product of the conditions that we've experienced, again, for generations since humans have occupied this tiny little island. We are really, really deeply insecure because we depend on others to feed ourselves, right? And have done for a very, very long time. And to maintain our standard of living. So we depend on these people to keep us alive. And as a consequence of that, we think that they're more valuable than us. And one of the ways that expresses itself is that we're constantly, comparing ourselves to these other groups and seeing where we fall short, or deciding to see ourselves in a way that falls short. So that's what it is. When we say we have no culture, it's not that we mean we have no culture. We just mean our culture is monk, which is stupid.
Yeah,
it is stupid, but that's part of our culture. It's part of what we do, And I wish it wasn't.
All right. Well, yeah, that's an interesting convo. We can definitely keep having that until it's a convo I'd love to have until we get people to stop talking like that. But anyway, what have we got in the news today?
Well, according to the BPS's official statistics report for 2023, local crime is at a historically low level, but there are some interesting details that are worth trying to understand a little bit more. You can find the full document on bps.bm, and Commissioner Darren Simons is celebrating the stats, saying that the 2023 numbers demonstrate we're still one of the safest places to live, work, and visit around the world, despite a 5.6% increase in crime over 2022. As you can see in these documents, most of what we call the big bad stuff is dropped, including reduced motor vehicle thefts, relatively low levels of firearm incidents, and overall low levels of property crime. However, one of the sobering details is that knife and bladed article crime is sharply increasing, more than doubling year over year and increasing more than 6 times than what we experienced in 2019. And weirdly, there were a lot of firearm incidents during the pandemic lockdown periods. I'm not really sure what that means, but I was debating whether to introduce this. when Commissioner Simon says we're one of the safest places around the world to live and work and visit, let me just show you this. So in the US, which, as you can see, is one of the more dangerous places on the planet, they've got about 6 murders per 100,000 people, right? In 2023, which these stats reflect was a drop in the murders that we had in the previous years, we've got like over 6. So statistically, you're more likely to be murdered in Bermuda than you are in the US. So
scary.
Yeah. So it's now, all that said, I again, like definition of words and intended communication, I know what he means when he says that, because if you are, God, this feels weird, but like if you live a particular type of lifestyle, then Bermuda can be an incredibly risky place to exist in. If you don't, generally speaking, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous to say this, but I think, and I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I think what many people would say is that the violence, for the most part, as far as murders, is contained to a certain group. Yeah.
And if you're in that group, then your risk level is higher than you would be in parts of the US.
Yeah.
But if you're not, broadly speaking, you're all right.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can check the full report out on bps.bm. It's an interesting read and worth checking out. So this year's hurricane season is starting in a matter of hours. And if we're lucky, West African dust storms will depress the number and intensity of systems that end up forming in the Atlantic and heading our way. Well, shout out to Jay for having a conversation yesterday with Bermuda Weather Service Director Michelle Pitcher about how and why we should be hoping for dust storms and dusty air this summer to keep us safe.
Say Sahara dust, that's literally sand and dust from the Saharan desert. It crosses the Atlantic and comes all the way over and visits everybody. Down in like Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, they have air quality alerts because that dust can really be thick coming across the Atlantic. And then sometimes here, especially in the summertime, we'll get our little purpley tinge sunsets, and that's because that dust is wrapping up here. A lot of dust dries out the air, no moisture for hurricanes. Because remember, hurricanes they need hot water, they're rain, they're full of thunderstorms. Okay. So this is can limit that. So we do need to watch whenever there's a big pulse of dust coming off of Africa and sweeping across the Atlantic. That'll dry out anything and help limit all of that formation.
I did a little Googling. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I didn't understand that until she said it. I thought the opposite, but I'm grateful for that. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, and I did a little more Googling about it after checking out the interview. And the thing that struck me was the scale of these dust storms and how incredibly tiny Bermuda is in comparison to them. Here's some footage from 2024 of a big one coming off the coast of West Africa. You see those country boundary lines like Senegal, Gambia, all that? Think about how tiny Bermuda is in comparison to all that dust. Like, we are lucky that all it does is give us pretty purple sunsets. Like, if that thing was able to make it further across the ocean, like I can't even imagine what it would be like. Like we die, or at least have trouble breathing.
Yeah. That's a lot of. See, I always heard about the dust, but I thought the dust led to hurricanes. I didn't know it helped reduce hurricanes. That's this is not my space, but she helped me. She educated me yesterday.
Yeah. So we should be
need the African dust.
Yeah, we need the African. I'm sorry, this is a funny sentence. We need the African dust. I want to put it in a t-shirt. In other news, you remember that digital finance forum from earlier this month where Coinbase and Penrose Partners they ran a community day down at Pier 6 with local vendors and consumers experiencing crypto and all that. Well, reportedly, it generated 7 figures in economic activity. PR Newswire just reported the event led to nearly $40,000 in digital dollar transactions on Community Day. That is people spending 40 grand in crypto on local vendors. And the 3-day event brought about $1 million to the city of Hamilton overall from hotel occupancy, transport, restaurants, and retail, which is like pretty big number. And also Ashley Stevens from Ashley's Lemonades quoted in the article as saying that dealing with crypto payments was easier than she expected, and she plans to accept them in the future, which is good news. So like we might be on the cusp of having another option to pay for stuff at local retailers. How do you feel about that?
In the most respectful and honest way. No one has explained to me yet in a way that I will understand what the heck Bitcoin, crypto, fintech is. I don't know how it works.
Really? Okay, I didn't realize.
I'm still there. I still don't understand what does it truly make better? Like, what problem does it truly solve?
Now that's a different question.
Yeah,
right.
I'm trying to figure out what makes it better than a credit card, or like I don't. No one's helped me understand what makes it a great alternative. Like, what problem does it solve?
Okay, if with this in mind, I imagine if you're feeling that way, the audience might be in a similar space. So next week, I will explain crypto from the position of a dispassionate observer. Like, I'm not fully invested, because the problem with the crypto conversation, I think, is that the people that are out front sort of explaining are the advocates, right? Like no, I'm telling you, this thing could change the world, right? Like the people that basically stand to benefit if this thing really pops even more locally. Whereas I just know what it is. So with that in mind, this is a good segue. Coinbase, right? It's one of the sponsors of the forum. It's the largest crypto exchange in the US. It has an active local footprint. They've had a complicated couple of weeks. That is, they were just listed on the S&P 500 as one of the biggest publicly traded companies in the world. And just days before that, they got hacked. Cost them close to $500 million to fix it. It's a thing. And again, this is a company with a local footprint. Here's a quick summary of what happened.
Coinbase announced hackers bribed some of its overseas employees for customer data and demanded a $20 million ransom from the company, a request Coinbase said it denied, while forecasting costs up to $400 million to remedy the incident. According to Coinbase, the cybercriminals bribed and recruited some of their support agents and contractors outside the US with cash to copy customer data, and then plan to use that data to pretend to be Coinbase to convince its users to hand over their crypto. Coinbase said the bribed employees were, quote, immediately terminated and offered a full reimbursement to any customers who lost money from the incident.
Woo! See, no, I don't trust it.
Well, that is not necessarily a lesson to take from that. But I just thought it was interesting that straight up cash bribes were what it took to crack a crypto exchange.
Easy, right? It's like, look, we're about to get half a bill. 500. I'll give you 50.
500 envelope, right?
I'll give you 50,000. You do that to enough people, they're like, well, I wouldn't make that over the span of 3 years. So I'm gonna take it.
Right. And if you one of the benefits of crypto is that people I guess use is that it's very difficult to trace. But cash in hand, that is the ultimate untraceable transaction, right?
Yeah. Hey, you gotta run, but what you got in the weather?
Next couple days should be clear, bright, just great weather overall. Go overboard, have a picnic, except once we get to Sunday, because there'll be some friction between highs and lows. Got a whole bunch of rain and wind dumped on the island that should continue into the start of next week.
All right, real quickly before I do Days of the Year, I just want to give a shout out to the Bean family. Ralph Gumbo Bean is being laid to rest today. So just want to send a lot of love to the Bean family. My boy Gumbo, love from the Daily Hour community. And also, there was a verdict in a murder trial yesterday in Bermuda. And, people have been very opinionated with what the result was with 4 men walking free. Feeling like, this is truly gangster's paradise. Like there's no justice in Bermuda. What I will say to Bermudians is for every person or persons who doesn't get justice, this really falls back on the community. So we have to do our part to do what we did last Friday and helping to prevent crime by, if we see something, say something. That's how we avoid getting into these spaces. So I just want to send a lot of love to families who have not received justice for their loved ones. And it's my hope that the community can do our part to help prevent situations where anyone needs justice going forward. Those are just words, not comfort, obviously, but it's all I can absolutely say or give at this time. Today it is, wait for it. It is, Taylor, you like potatoes?
Yeah.
It's International Day of the Potato. So everybody, what is your favorite kind of potato? I'm going to tell you right off, it's a tie between potato chips and French fries. But what's your favorite type of potato, Taylor?
All right. You're going to laugh at me.
It's
called Hasselback potatoes.
That sounds European.
It very much is. It is, I think, the best way to prepare a potato, but it's real fiddly. It takes a while to do, but it's like you get everything you love about fries and everything you love about mashed potatoes in a single dish. Google it. If you got an hour and a half over the weekend, try it out. It's Hasselback. It's really dope. Okay.
Well, the Bermudians showed up with scalloped potatoes. Nika P and WKD Lama said scalloped potatoes. You don't like scalloped? I don't eat them because they have cheese.
I have rarely had really good scalloped potatoes. I mean, because like potatoes, cheese, onions, like those things are all nice, right? But getting the balance right is challenging.
Karen Simmons, scalloped potatoes too. Tanya cheese, that sweet potato cooked on the stovetop. All right, potato heads. Tay, we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, good brother.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Take care.
All right, Terradil folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to have a conversation with Kimwana Eve coming up. Make sure you all have been really non-helpful today. So whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, let's beat the algorithm. Like, love, follow, share. We're going to take a break and be back with Kimwana Eve. Don't miss this conversation. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Attention home renovators and design lovers, your dream space starts here. The brand new Kohler retail showroom at BAC Group is now open, bringing you up to 35% savings on all Kohler products at U.S. manufacturer suggested retail prices. That means no extra fees, no freight, no wharfage, no duty, no document processing fees, just pure cutting-edge Kohler design at unbeatable value. From sleek kitchen and bathroom faucets, vanities, toilets, to statement sinks, walk-in tubs, and spa-worthy bathtubs, BAC brings innovation and luxury within reach. Visit the BAC showroom on Mill Creek Road today for style, quality, no surprises. Just color from BAC.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
All right, welcome back to The Big Show. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, let's bring in our very special guest for the day. We love Lookie, and we have Kimwana Eve back on, and we're going to be discussing what they've got going on. Get your questions and your comments ready. Let's give her a warm TDH welcome. Hey there, what's up?
Morning, Teo. Sorry, morning, Jamal.
Wow, that's what we're doing. All right, okay. I see what it is. And all that good stuff I said about Lookie.
I know. Sorry, Jamal.
I meant it. But what's happening? How are you? How are you?
I am exhausted in a good way, if you understand.
I think I do. I think before we get into this, I gotta ask you about potatoes first.
I was thinking, and I'm very simple. So my answer is a baked potato.
Okay, yeah. Just
with,
put it in oil.
Butter,
sour cream. Pepper. Okay, no sour cream, right?
A little bit of maybe cheese and broccoli, but just simple. A baked potato.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds simple enough. But hey, look, I did talk about you earlier this month because, I was ashamed to say this publicly, but I went into Lookie for the first time. I'm mad with my purchase because I wish I would have purchased more of those cookies. They were well. And obviously, people want you to share them with, but they were done before I made it back to the car. But I was proud. I was proud knowing the first conversation we had on this show to now, like just the journey, it's been special. But let's discuss. I mean, when you initially came on the show, it was just an online directory, and it's since evolved into a physical space. What inspired you? I want to go back, because I know we've discussed before, but now that I've seen the space, what inspired you to expand into like a brick and mortar presence?
So a few things helped me get to that point. I wanted to do the directory because I couldn't find anything that was like made by Bermudians, right? So I said, okay, a directory. But as I started doing the groundwork and giving out to all these small business owners, a lot of them were just like, one more thing that you want me to update? And I was like, okay. And then a friend of mine who has a business, he said, this is okay, but it's not it. Like, it's okay. So then I said, okay. And then we were coming up on Christmas, and I said, what if I just get everybody in one space for the Christmas holiday? And then this affords whomever to support all these local businesses. And I understand that a large percent of small business owners, that isn't their main source of income. So they have other obligations, whether that's another job. So I said, okay, let me do that for 6 weeks. So from Thanksgiving through Christmas Eve, we set up a pop-up shop. Thank you to the EDC. They are very supportive in that initiative. And I did it. And the response from the public was far beyond what my expectations were. So then that was, hold on a minute. Oh my goodness. Sorry. That was far beyond my what I expected. So I said, okay, we had all this great feedback, but then January came, which is not a time of shopping, and I was just like, okay, now what? Like, nobody's spending their money. So I said, for Easter, we'll do a 6-month pop-up. So we went from April last year straight through to September. And during that time, people will come in the store and they're like, it says pop-up. You're not going to stay here permanently. And I'm just like, I don't know. We'll see. And as the time went on, I just took the risk and said, you know what? That myth that Bermudians don't shop locally is not entirely true. Bermudians want to support, they just don't know how, or it's not so much convenient.
It's kind of like the conversation we had earlier. Bermuda has no culture. No, I get it. Just bring yourself down a bit. We don't want your head cut off. We want people making sure they see you. There you go. Make sure they see you. But in saying that, I mean, one thing I got from visiting Kimwana, honestly, was that it feels like more than a retail space. It feels like a platform to empower local entrepreneurs. Like the feeling I got when I was in there, and forgive me, I don't think the other young lady told me her name, but the feeling I got, and I didn't feel like it was just because it was me. It just felt like you're there to empower. While I was there were entrepreneurs there restacking, and it just felt different, right? It felt like,
yeah, and that's what we definitely want to keep. The energy is very different from your traditional retail space. I know that there are other stores that do carry local products, but I like to say Lookie is different because you as the entrepreneur are a part of the cake. You're not the icing on the cake, you are a part of the cake. So your product is just as important as the next person's product. I take pride in showcasing people's products. I take pride in, okay, maybe we can adjust so you can scale the brand this way. And when people come in, that is like the number one thing that we hear, that the energy is different. And it's absolutely different. I genuinely care about the interests of both the locals who have the product and those who want to purchase it. We make everything an experience. So you come in, we find out how things are going for you. We have a conversation. We introduce you to new things. It's just a space to come together. People ask, like, when are you gonna have the coach in here? Because a lot of people come on that coffee break and they're like, we want to, sit down and relax for a minute. We're not there yet, but it's definitely that space where everybody's welcomed. Everybody's we get to know everybody's names. We make it a thing to make it a thing. It's not just come and grab something and go.
Yeah. And it's interesting because most on the outside would say, oh, that's risky, because retail has faced so many challenges in recent years. But how has Lookie responded to those challenges?
So it's extremely risky going into retail, right? But the difference is we have about 60 vendors in store. So it would be crazy for 60 people to open up 60 brick and mortars, right? But when we come together as a collective, for example, a lot of stores are closed the day after a holiday. So we had the Bermuda Day holiday on the Friday. A lot of stores were closed on the Saturday. We were open on the Saturday. It was extremely busy on the Saturday because people we service so many different needs. So we had a lot of people who were going back, leaving the island later that Saturday or on the Sunday, and they wanted to grab some things. I think it was even a cruise boat in on Saturday, or it was a lot of tourists in on Saturday. So while it's risky, we're servicing a need. So people are showing up. The locals are the number one supporters of Lookie. I say that all the time. We're going into Father's Day. People are coming in. They've been coming in. They're like, okay, what's new for Father's Day? I'm ready to buy gifts. So it's risky, but it's filling a need.
Interesting. I definitely appreciate that. I mean, again, audience, I want to ask the audience, yes or no, have you actually visited the physical Lookie location? And it's okay to say no, but we just want to know yes or no, because again, I hadn't visited until earlier this month, and it's an experience. But moving on, I mean, you've spoken about before the importance of community and collaboration. You know, you speak about locals, like this business is supported by locals. What initiatives or events, I guess, that you are interested in or put on, like the pop-ups that you used to have and so on, and then you end up staying? Is there anything that you've done or you're doing to bring the community closer to some local entrepreneurs?
So we have these events, not so much events, but we have in-store events. We always have them before, like maybe 2 days before a holiday. So how we had the Bermuda Day holiday, 2 days before we had a local DJ in-store playing music, bringing the vibes, you know, a space for a lot of us to just relax and greet each other. And I like to say, I'm over 40, right? So with children, so I don't really have the opportunity to have these happy hours where I leave work and then I go and I get to hang out for a little while. So when you come into Lookie, it is that vibe. So people get to socialize with each other. So we don't typically have like specific events, but it's always just a space of community. People come, they even call us now and they're like, do you know where I could find this? And we're just like, yeah, someone came in here who offered that. And a lot of people show up in the space who are service-based businesses, and they're just like, so how can I get my business seen? And that brings me to another initiative that I'm working on.
Well, you know, I'm excited. Like, what we working on? What's coming? What's coming from Lookie now? Give it to us.
So while I spoke about the directory was my initial thing that I had going on, we are introducing the directory again. And this time I've had close to 2 years on the ground dealing with entrepreneurs, whether that's people who are just starting out in business or they've been in business for a few years. And we have learned that Bermudians still do not know where to find certain things. So we are reintroducing the directory. I'm super excited because it's 2025, right? And we all know that you have to have an online presence. There's no doubt about it. But as someone who has a small business, having a website isn't necessarily the best thing because, as you know, Jamal, having a website requires work. Yeah. So that's money, that's time, that's, you know, purchasing a domain name, keeping your website updated. And a lot of people are one-man bands and they don't have the time or money to put into that. And then getting on social media. A lot of times I know when people visit someone, say Instagram, and they're like, man, they haven't posted in over a year. So they don't really want to do business with them. The directory is here to solve that. So we are focus not only on product-based businesses, but service-based businesses who need a online presence, who just don't have the time, don't have the care, don't even, they just don't get it, right? And they don't want to get it because they're busy running their business. We are creating the directory that is due to launch, I would say, early July. It's going to be a space for anyone to come. We also know that people outside of Bermuda are looking for what is in Bermuda. I did a post when I first started. I just found maybe 20 different makeup artists. A lady from Canada called me and she said, I'm an event planner. I did not know how to find makeup artists for my bride and her bridal party. I'm so glad you did that post because now I am able to get onto their social media, contact them, and see which one's going to be the best fit. So there's a need for us to, like, we're global. As small as Bermuda is, there are people looking at us. There is a need for us to have a presence, and like I said, for everyone to do this piece by piece, it isn't necessarily the best economical way, especially if you're not doing that level of business day to day. So I've created this directory. It will be a space where every entrepreneur, creative, crafty person, whomever, hobbyist, can get a page on the website. It will have all their contact details. It'll give a brief bio about their business. And then what is important is that you'll be able to write reviews. As we know, word of mouth is the number one seller, right, for doing business. So unlike on Facebook where someone might write a review and that business is kind of like tainted, I will be able to write a review. It might not be the best experience that I had, but as the small business owner, they could come underneath that review and they could say, oh yes, this did happen and this is how we rectified it. So me as a general person, I'm like, okay, because things do happen in life. This is how it was handled. And yes, I want to do business with them. But these businesses don't have to worry about keeping their presence updated on social media or keeping their website updated because they just don't have the time. So I'm very excited about the directory. I've learned so many things from when I initially started that in 2022 and how it is such an improvement now, from the look to the navigation to just really being able to answer questions for those out there who are looking for certain things.
Indeed. Awesome. Well, I did ask, have folks been to Lookie? Suzanne Ingham says, yes, several times. She said love about 11 times over Lookie. Tanya Cheeseman says, yes, that is my spot to support local businesses and also get unique items to support my need. Love the vibe. Charles H. Jeffs II, he does have a question. What's the ratio of locals to visitors? Many visitors are looking for authentic /local /experiences /products.
So I would say about 70% of the support comes from locals, 30% comes from tourists. And what I have noticed, tourists on cruise boats don't necessarily spend money in that way. So I don't know if they spend money on like a food experience or an excursion, but to actually buy items, they don't really spend money. However, there's traveling on an airplane, they spend money, and what they notice in Lookie, which they've said it several times, is nothing that's mass produced, made in other parts of the world with the word Bermuda stuck on it. They actually can see that this is handmade. So not everything in store is locally made, but everything in store is either locally made or locally owned. And we specify that because I don't want people to come in and think that this water bottle was made in Bermuda, but then the way that the person has enhanced the water bottle makes it unique to Bermuda.
Yeah. Indeed. That should be understandable. I mean, the mug has Bermuda and a Bermuda flag. It's probably not made in Bermuda. I mean, look, come on. That's how it works sometimes, folks.
Yeah.
Davis says yes all the time. She goes there. James Burgess says, I don't know that store. So James, it's this is not her first time, but Lookie is in the mall, Washington Mall. Go check it out if you want some local products. Karen Simmons says yes. Often shop at Lookie to support local entrepreneurs. Started going because of TDH. We appreciate you, Karen Simmons. You may be able to help Anika DeShield. She says, I'm looking for a Moscow Mule cup with Bermuda map, flag, or name engraved on it. Any leads?
Yes. So we don't have that in the store, but we have a business in store called JB Coastal Creations, and they do a lot of that. So if she sends a message through Instagram, or if she comes in store, because every vendor who is in store, we have their business cards because of these reasons. So I can give her their details. But yeah, we can definitely help her to get that done.
Alrighty. Well, Marquita Lee and Hadeline said no, but Hadeline said I'd like to come by and buy. Well, okay, before you head out, for those who have not been, you got to let them know where you're located, what's the best time to come, like what are your hours, and remind them the website for the directory.
Yes, so we are located in the Washington Mall in the lower level, so that's just below like Cell One and Gibbons Him store. Right off of the ATM machine, our hours are 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Come in whenever. Everybody is welcomed when you come in. We definitely let you know what's in store. If you have any questions, we're pretty much able to answer all of those questions. The directory isn't up yet, so the website isn't available, but when it becomes available, it will be heylookylookie.com. If you have a small business, if you have something to offer, do send us an email, info@heylookylookie.com, because we are in the process of getting businesses uploaded onto the site. So when we launch, you all will have something to search.
Indeed. Thank you. And Charles H. Jeffs II, he says, cruise visitors do spend significantly less than air visitors. May I suggest you do some sort of intro event for hoteliers?
Yes, so we there are a few things that we would like to do to get to more tourists. As you know, Jamal, having a small business, especially with advertising dollars, it isn't always as easily accessible to do those things. We have sent a few emails out to some of the concierge services at the hotels. We have contacted Bermuda Tourism to hopefully do some type of partnership. We have great relationships with minibus drivers. So we have some drivers who come in, they bring that to us in store. So we're getting there. It's just the process. So every year we're getting better.
I don't want to shame on any other business. An audience, you may agree with me on this, but I think this is the concept that many people would have expected in the airport stores. This is the kind of concept that I think we have longed for. So I'm a fan of it. I'm glad I got to physically support and look forward to supporting more. Kimwana, again, awesome. Always a pleasure having you. I know we'll see you again before the year is out, right?
Yes.
And I was going to say this as well. Charles said the Bermuda Hotel Association, try them as well. Bermuda Hotel Association would be a good place as well to link them and maybe present to hoteliers. But thank you so much for what you're doing, empowering other entrepreneurs and bringing them into one spot. Because something you said that I hope is not lost on anyone is when you have a space like yours, it not only saves others money, but saves them time from having to obviously pay for their own space and sell their own product. You're partnering with someone to sell it on your behalf. It's so much easier that way. So thank you for what you're doing. It's appreciated. And hopefully we could turn the nose on this show today into the others who've been there and supported. So thanks again, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Jamal, for having me. Talk to
No
you
problem.
soon.
All right, Kimwana E, folks, Lookie, if you appreciated the conversation, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take our final break of the day, but don't you go anywhere because I want to see if any of you can get this daily play. Stick with us. Forget the usual, ditch the ordinary, go off grid, where adventure meets barefoot luxury. Welcome to Off-Grid RV Bermuda, the island's first recreational vehicle retreat where nature meets luxury in a fully solar-powered Airstream RV. Enjoy eco-conscious linens, cozy robes, a stove, and full bath in a mobile home. You'll find peace in every detail of your stay. Now accepting bookings for overnight stays and half-day escapes. We deliver and set up your Airstream at one of our 10 hand-picked island gems, or right to your private residence. Whether it's a honeymoon, golf getaway, birthday, or solo recharge, you'll get quality service every time. Book now at offgridrvbermuda.com and discover the sleep, serenity, and scenery you've been craving.
Hey, you all right, boy? I don't know, man. I finished running 20 minutes ago, and I feel like I'm still panting. Look like you need to recover. Try this here. New drink. Oh, you're like you want to go to the hospital in 2 seconds or two. This will make you fast like Flora. Tastes good. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Hey, we again. I'm recovered, boy.
Being from this little island, like yourself, we knew you needed access to reliable shipping. We set up mailboxes so you can skip all the long waits or held up in customs excuses.
With mailboxes, that won't happen. Get your packages in under 48 hours using our dashboard.
Plus, if you're a planner or headerer, our weekly consolidation service might be for you. We hold your packages in Delaware and ship them together to save you big time on shipping fees.
And with our warehouse being in Delaware, that means 0% sales tax. Pretty cool, right guys?
Looking for the best care for your pets? Noah's Ark Feed and Supply has everything you need. From top quality foods to toys and supplies, we've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Kimwana Eve from Lookie for stopping by. Folks, again, if you appreciated today's conversation, just do us a quick favor. It costs you nothing, just 5 seconds. Give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues, whatever platform you're on. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. Bermuda Trivia is now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, here we go. Here it is. A woman can visit a gynecologist. What is the equivalent for a man? No one knows this? Thank you. Julie, you said it first. Urologist, yes. Texas? What's Texas? Yes, it's urologist, Richard Scott, Julie, Charles H. Jefferson II, Anika Shields, Shonette Bell, Suzanne Engel. Yes, a urologist. I think that was fitting as we had a urologist on this week. We had Dr. Makanjula come on this show to discuss prostate cancer. Real quickly, just want to go back. This is a good idea. Richard Scott said, consider promotional with the cruise ship passengers regarding Lookie. I love that. Absolutely. But hey, Audience, look, I want to go back to the earlier discussion because something tells me we're going to have that conversation over and over and over. But we have to change the narrative, and it starts with each and every one of us. Charles, I believe, said earlier, it's a question whether it's self-hate or lack of appreciation. I think it can be both, depending on the individual. When it comes to Bermuda culture, I think our culture is something to love and appreciate. But who am I to tell someone what to love and not to love? I think we have so much to be proud of as a country, as an island, things that make us unique. And Lookie is a perfect example of that. Allowing Bermudian entrepreneurs who are creative and finding ways to make a living or add to their way of living with uniquely Bermudian products, some. It's that simple. But whenever you see, I want to encourage the audience to do something. Whenever you see someone saying Bermuda has no culture, just respond to them. What do you like most about Bermuda? And when they tell you what they like, explain to them how unique that may be to Bermuda and Bermudians. I am upset with the government. I don't like a lot of things they've done. But that has no bearing on my love for the culture and the people who we are. All right, let me give you some daily inspiration. You know what? It landed on Michelle Obama. I'll share this with you. She says, all is driven by a simple belief that the world as it is just won't do. Have an obligation to fight for the world as it should be. I think that's fitting. That's fitting. Former First Lady, Michelle Obama. Folks, we've got to run, but we will be back on Tuesday. All right? We'll be back on Tuesday. Don't act like you didn't know. Don't act like we didn't tell you. We'll be back live on Tuesday. In the meantime, for today's show, whatever platform you're on, give us that like, love, follow, share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Mediquals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Tuesday. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.